Nick Moore. I'm here to inform you about the importance of a strong foundation in your credit. Credit's, to most people it's just a number. All the stuff that we've talked about so far and all the speeches can relate directly back to credit, such as a Ponzi scheme might mess up your credit, or saving money can help you save money, which can let you have money for down payments later on, which can affect your credit. And apparently if your great-great-grandma didn't pay off a loan, maybe you got to pay it off. So all this stuff affects credit, and we just don't really talk about it and think about it much. And things like such as the snowball effect Ray was talking about, bring stuff up, that can affect your credit and make it a little bit better. So everything we've talked about relates directly to credit, but we never really talk about credit much. I want to inform you on the importance of a strong foundation in your credit, but not necessarily persuade you how to do it one way or the other. And I related it to a construction of a foundation because if your credit doesn't start right, it's really hard to get it right. You got to continually backpedal and backtrack. So if you just start strong, then it's easier to stay strong. You know, we can take some of these foundations here. I mean, you don't end up like that or this. I don't really know what's up with this guy here, but he seems like he's got it going on. He's just living on a rock. Hey, on top of the rock instead of under a rock, right? And if you do well and succeed, then you know you can build nice things, whether it's a house, new vehicles, so on and so forth. Startling fact is in 2009, a company named Universal Systems did a survey and asked a series of questions of basically what people fear the most. And the number one fear was credit card fraud, and when they got down to the reason why, it was because it affected their credit that they couldn't control. It all went back to their credit score, because if you got a poor credit score, then you know interest is higher, loan rates are higher, required to have more money down. So of all the things they brought up, family health, nuclear explosions, 2009 wasn't the best of years. You can pretty much, since 2001's been pretty rough. But the number one fear was people's credit scores. Me personally, I would be a little more worried about that nuclear explosion. But hey, you know what, right there, smile, bad face. In 2009, I would not have checked credit scores. Through following advice and guides and steps, I have successfully built a strong credit foundation. So it's not something I fear. That's why I felt it was good I could use this to talk about and inform y'all on, since I've had positive experiences through success, a little bit of failures, and other people's failures in particular. I love to learn off other people's mistakes. So hopefully, by the end of the speech, this is what you're hearing. If it is, then just continue on. It'll be over before you know it. If not, hopefully you'll learn something good. So a strong foundation, we kind of incorporate these first two into them. What is the foundation and the importance of it? For one, it's what something sits on. Your house sits on, you don't just drag your furniture onto dirt or sand or whatever. In Florida, we can really relate to this because a weak foundation, easy for a hurricane to collapse, right? So the importance of foundation is, you think this guy is going to last in a strong windstorm? I mean, he didn't really do it right. The guy with the rock, he's good. You don't want to be like that. You want to be strong in your foundation. And when it comes to starting with your foundation, when I said start right, stay right, that's exactly what you got to do. When you start building credit from the beginning, whether it's taking out small loans, getting a cell phone in your name, and all that kind of stuff, the key is, pay your bills, start small. Remember, if you do get a credit card, the max doesn't mean you have to keep it there. Always be paying off your stuff on time and doing your research, and continually to do things right. Don't just get excited and go crazy. Tortoise wins the race, small equals large. I thought these were pretty good things to incorporate because you got to start somewhere, right? Everybody wants to go out, 18-year-old, buy a brand new car, buy a brand new house. We'd all love to have a house. Go from your parents' house to a brand new one. I'd like to be there if somebody were walking to the bank at 18 years old with no money down and try to apply for a loan like that. It just wouldn't happen. So you got to start small and start slow. Remember the hare kept cutting corners and cheating and doing this, and the turtle ended up winning. So you just got to progressively take steps towards building your credit through small things, getting things in your name for the first time, and the small loans. And like I go back to the credit card thing, not maxing it out completely and paying off your stuff on time, living within your means. And at the same time, starting small equals large. Because look at the pyramid here. The pyramid just started with just a base. It, didn't look too much. It looked like a stage probably at first for a concert. But then over time, those small steps, now they're some huge wonders of the world. And the same thing with your credit. You might not be a huge wonder of the world, but taking the small steps nice and slow, not buying a brand new car when you make, $6 an hour as an 18-year-old buying a $40,000 car, living within your means and staying on track with your payments and all that stuff, your credit will eventually build up into a nice strong. Remember, once you start and you start on track, stay on track. Don't think, okay, well, I got room for error. I've done so well this time. I've kind of sacrificed here, sacrificed there. You know, now I just screw it. I'll just go buy whatever I want and all that stuff. You know, you don't want to do that. Continue to stay strong. Tips from the pros. That's one of my favorite ones. For my interview, I interviewed a friend who works for the Department of Defense. He actually works in their financial thing, most notably for the Air Force. His name's Matt Nissen. And a lot of the stuff I've been talking about is kind of, he guided me to it. I haven't direct referenced him. But he just made it clear that you gotta just continually to grow and don't just throw all your money away and just say, okay, well, I did good in the beginning, so I'll just relax now. And another thing for tips from the pros, I don't know if I'd read that book, but be careful. There's a lot of Ponzi schemes and schemes out there, get rich quick, things like that. And make sure you check your sources whenever you are taking tips from people, like the good tip about the snowball effect of paying things off. You know, that's a really good one. And you know, you guys got some advice from this class already that you can apply towards continuing strong credit and paying off all your debts and all that stuff. And you know, don't get shaky. This little guy here, you know, he ain't walking the fastest right now, but in a few months he's gonna eat you. You know, everybody starts out a little shaky, and it's gonna happen. Start out with the phone, maybe you lose your job, you can't pay, you know, just stay strong and don't let the shaky legs knock you over and keep you down. You know, don't just think, oh, I've messed it up, so I'm done. I might as well just rack up everything and fall back. Don't do stuff like that, you know. There's people that do it. Y'all laugh with you. He's going to get you. But you know, right now you're competitive. Okay, success is yours. This is an important part because remember that you are you and no one else. So many times at a young age, all my friends and stuff had brand new cars and all this stuff, and I was thinking, man, we make the same money, but I can barely afford this. How are y'all paying for this stuff? And you know, they weren't. They just, their credit was going downhill, but you know, I kind of felt bad because I had a beat up truck and this and that, and I wanted to have like them, but I just stayed within my means and followed the advice of friends and the failure of others, and it really helped me out in the long run because my credit score is mine. You know, I can go get a loan and do good right now because I stayed on track and didn't rush. You know, and even though I wanted the stuff like they had, at the end of the day, it affects me, so hey, they might have looked cooler, but now I got good credit. And you know, it's important to reward yourself. As you can't just stay on the straight and narrow the whole time. You know, like say you start out buying a used car, you save 20% on your used car. Then maybe next time if you pay that off and progress, you want to buy something a little bit nicer. It's okay to kind of progress and reward yourself. A piece of advice that my buddy Matt told me about was when he was talking about the snowball effect of paying off those credit cards. I was talking about that as well the other day. And he said, you know, say you're going to apply the next one towards, you pay off one, you go to pay off the next one, you can actually save a little bit of that money. Say you're going to put that $50 towards here, keep 10 of it for yourself and reward yourself for success a little bit. And you're still doing great, but rewarding yourself at the same time. So that way you feel good about your accomplishments, and it's not like you got nothing, but you got perfect credit. You know, you got stuff to show for it. Cool beach picture. Figure I'd give y'all a little bit of vacation from me talking. Some interesting stuff. This kind of relates just to the tips. Like I was saying, I found this off of a good credit website, which I believe is called moneyzine.com. It's like a money magazine. And your FICO score is, you can go to myficoscore.com, just Google myfico and it'll bring it up. This is what, there's tons of different, you know, you see the Equifax and all them. These are the ones that's where they pull it from. FICO comes down and like posts the major credit stuff and how it gets broken down. And the reason I put this in there is payment history and amounts owed equate for 30 and 35%, which is 65% of your overall credit. So you can affect two things right there will affect 65% of your credit. Although these are important, the fact is if you start to get a little shaky and make mistakes, do your research and find out what you can do, seek expert advice, and start attacking those big areas so that way you can improve it overall. So hopefully you learned a little bit about the importance of a strong foundation through a lot of my photos, things falling over, the little tiger that'll eat you. You know, you can grow. If you're still shaky right now, it's okay. A lot of great advice from the other speeches as well that you can incorporate in with your stuff, saving money and all that. So now you have some ways to save some money, and you know that if you don't have a strong foundation, you'll fall over, so go find a rock to live on. And